Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about the benefits of dock, yellow dock, curly dock, also known as Rumex crispus, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So that's the botanical name of it. Now, I would believe that most of what I'm going to be talking about today can be applied to any type of dock, but it's good to always do your research based on what you find and what you know is growing in your area on that individual kind, just to make sure, because there's always going to be variances in any kind of herb. Some can have a little bit more toxic effects than others. And what I will say right off the bat, just like many other greens, there are oxalic acids in them, so it is best if you cook them first before using them, as far as the greens, like the leaves, and using them in dishes. Now, another thing I want to say right off the bat, I typically do not do videos like this until I've actually used the plant for something, but I really wanted to get this information out there and wanted to do the research on it because I do have a lot growing around here that has just come up on its own. I think it originally must have come over from some horse manure that we brought over years ago, because I ended up with a lot of different things growing in my garden, such as the lady's thumb and so much more as a result. Some things have been really great to have and other things not quite so much. Lady's thumb, by the way, is also edible and usable and has benefits, and I even did a video on that, which you'll find in my playlist where I put all of these type of videos. It's pretty long, that I'll link to in the description box down below. So now the dock, it's a perennial. It has a very long tap root, so once it's established, it can be you can't just pull it up. You got to really get down there and dig it up. Parts of the plants that are usable for medicine would be like the leaves and the roots, and then the stems, the leaves, the seeds, the roots are all edible, obviously, if you can use them for medicine. And the leaves are going to be the part, though you're going to find a lot of these same benefits in the leaves as you would in the roots. The leaves are going to be more thought of as something as a green, but you can use them for their medicinal value if you would prefer to do that than to dig up the roots. Now, a lot of times it's known as yellow dock because of the color of the root itself. Can range in shades from beige to a deeper yellow, not quite as dark as turmeric, but the ones that grow around here have a more beige color root, so it's not very yellow. But it is definitely the curly dock / yellow dock, and it has golden dock as another name. So in ways that you can use the leaves would be like soups. It does say salads, but it is recommended you cook them first. So I think, in that case, you're probably looking more at using the very young, tender leaves in a salad. Stir fries, or as a side dish, a standalone. Like I've done this with nettle, where I've taken my nettle and then stir-fried it with onions and garlic, maybe threw in some butter and some homemade wine. And I would assume you could do the same. Like I said, I haven't tried it yet. But one of these days, I'm going to do it. I just have to remember. Now, the roots specifically can be used as a good blood purifier, a laxative, and is great for just general skin health. And I'll be going into more about that, because now I'm going to be going over the general benefits. And what I mean by that is this going to be like all parts of the plant. So dock is high in antioxidants, which is really, anything that's high in antioxidants means it's going to be very helpful at preventing various different types of cancers. Very good for bone health due to the phosphorus and calcium it contains. Its high potassium content is good at helping to lower a chronically high blood pressure. I say it that way because just having high blood pressure means nothing, because your blood pressure needs to regulate itself, and it does. Your body's intelligent that way. Sometimes you need it higher, sometimes you need it lower. Typically going to the doctor and have your blood pressure checked means your blood pressure is going to be high because you're a little bit stressed out. So just remember that. But chronically high all the time, yes, we got to kind of find the underlying issues, and to help that until you get there, using things like dock and many other things, which, by the way, I have a video on herbs and more to help lower blood pressure that I'll link to in the description box down below if you're interested in that. So I mentioned the root being good for skin, so that, this can be applied topically, but I believe also taken in a tincture form. But it can be helpful for things like psoriasis, other types of dermatitis, and so on. But also good for just general skin health, for boosting the health of the skin. It also boosts immunity and is good for hair health. Usually anything that's good for your skin is also going to be beneficial to your hair. It can reduce the risk of diabetes. Very good for digestive health, in particular constipation, diarrhea, indigestion, bloating, and the like. If you are anemic due to iron deficiency, because of its iron content, it can be good for that. If you are an iron deficient anemic, it's always important to understand getting your iron in a natural form, such as cooking with cast iron or using something like this. That's going to be far better than taking any kind of iron supplement, because you can easily get too much iron and it can cause more issues with your health. My chicken's back there. And because of its purifying aspect, purifying the blood and more, it is very good for liver and gallbladder health. It is helpful at dealing with bacterial infections. It can assist in weight loss and lower cholesterol. It is helpful at reducing inflammation and good at detoxing the blood, which I already mentioned, but also the lymphatic system. So one thing that I learned, especially when I was learning about DOC, which, by the way, I don't want to forget, I'll be putting several links to different articles where I found the information, a lot of this information about DOC, that you can learn more, where it also talks about dosing and stuff, because I don't like giving that, because I don't think any one dose is right for any person, for all people. But if you would like to learn more about that, I recommend checking out those links. But one of the things I just found really exciting is that when it comes to, let's say you're wanting to make a tincture out of the dock, be it the root, the leaves, or all of the above, the stems you can use as well. Vinegar is a really great solvent to use instead of vodka, because it's better at drawing the nutrients, specifically the minerals, out of the plant material. And learning that was really exciting, because I've used vinegar for making extracts in the past. And it's also good for people who need to avoid alcohol altogether, even though when you're making a tincture with any kind of spirit or wine, you're usually only taking a small amount. Some people need to avoid it altogether and not even have alcohol in the house. But knowing that you can use your own homemade vinegar, especially to make your different extracts, they're not going to taste great most of the time, but you can also blend it with honey and turn it into an oxymel, and there you have a completely alcohol-free extract that you can use for anyone, children through adults. So anyway, that was really good news for me to come across, and I'll probably be, even though I use my homemade wine more than anything to make my extracts, I'm really thinking about going back to using my homemade vinegar more. So if you're one who may have used DOC for a vegetable or any kind of medicinal use, please share with us your experience and how you prepared it or how it's helped you with various things. In the comments down below, we'd really like to hear more about this and hear more real life testimonies, especially since I don't have any to share myself like I normally do when I'm covering such things. And I would love to hear more about it myself, of course, because I'm still learning about it. And thanks for watching. Take care and God bless.